Football. That's right. This is NFL Straya. I am your co-host, James Clements. I'm a guy here in the James Clements Excellence in Podcasting Memorial Studios, okay, the Sports Today Studios. And on the other side of this here screen, it's, I don't know, a bloke. Sometimes singer in a band called The Ramshackle Army. He's my mate. He's your mate. He's flying. Eagles flying. It's Gaz. What's going on, Gaz?
I'm giving thanks, Jim. I'm giving thanks. 10-2.
I'm giving thanks for all the awesome football over the weekend. I'll tell you that much.
It feels a little bit different than when we were 10-2 last year and on the way down. Not gonna lie. It's a different feeling.
Yeah, it's because your team's good. Whereas last year they were frauds. So it makes sense. Anyway. But it was a massive, massive Thanksgiving weekend.
Huge.
We had football on like a million days, which was great. Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday. It's what it's all about. Just listing days now. That's what we do here. But we are going to wrap up week 13. We're going to talk out, I don't know, the week 14 picks as we do. Got a couple of nars. We've got the weekly awards. We'll do a little bit of fantasy, but we're just going to smash through it this week because it has been so, like, I don't remember Friday's games. Like, I was looking through this, I'm like, oh yeah, Raiders Chiefs was insane. And I don't remember a thing from it, basically. So we're going to smash through all that. It's going to be fun, and then we'll set you up for next week, as per usual. That's what we do on NFL Straya. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Episode 113 of NFL Straya. Let's go! That's what we planned. That's what the play was going to be. I'm Matt Eberflutes, and you're listening to NFL Straya. Bears fans' long national nightmare is over now, Gaz. So we've gotten rid of a few ones that I don't like this year, which I've loved. Dennis Allen's gone. I didn't really mind Bob Salah, but, you know, whatever. And somehow Dougie P's still got a gig, but either way. For now. Dweeberflus is gone. Like, he screwed up so badly on Thanksgiving that the Bears fired a coach in season for the first time ever, which is amazing because they've been playing since like the 1300s or whatever, right? They've been around a long time. So that's how bad he screwed up. It was that bad and funny. Dweeberflus, you're on your bike. Bears fans rejoicing. So
the fucking look on his face. It was like, I don't know, dumbest look on the sidelines this year is now a toss-up between him and Mayo. Like, that was fucking...
Mayo's confused, like, what are you talking... What? Huh? Like, Mayo has, like, he scrunches up his face. He's like, what's happening? And it's like, Jared, you're the coach. You should know what's happening. He's like, what? And he's like, always got this weird scrunched, squinty-looking face. He's like, what? I'm like, oh, God. But yeah, Dweeberflus is gone. Bears fans are stoked. Pretty incredible gear. But outside of that, Thanksgiving, I think we should be giving thanks for close games throughout a bunch of those first ones as well. I think we had the first 12 games were decided by 7 or fewer, which is pretty nuts. So that's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
And cool. And we got a snow game, and there's nothing better because it was in Buffalo. And there is nothing better than a snow game in Buffalo, Gaz.
A snow game in Buffalo when a West Coast summer team comes in?
Yeesh.
What's this white shit?
I mean, it was the Niners. They're not exactly like, San Francisco is not like the, you know, SoCal. It's not exactly warm there. It's like basically Melbourne. But it was like, it's just it's the vibe of the thing. It's the entire vibe of a Buffalo snow game at night as well, right? Where they've got all the lunatics who've been drinking all day in the car park, jumping through tables, lighting shit on fire. They do the thing where they go, hey, we need your help shoveling snow. And you're like, don't you guys have billions of dollars? It's like, oh, you get paid $20 an hour and we feed you. It's like, yeah, I still fucking America. But by the same token, it's sick and it was awesome and I'm always here for it. And Josh Allen is like, talk about good bloke of the week. Like, got engaged to a fucking Hollywood starlet, smashed his hand and then fucking ran in for a couple of touchdowns. Looked awesome doing it. So anyway, good stuff there. Outside of that, We had some shocking ref calls over the weekend. I don't know how much you sort of were paying attention to this, but God damn, there were some horrible ones. And my biggest one, watching that Ravens game, how much money do you reckon Justin Tucker had on the Eagles, Gaz? I'm just curious.
The kicking in general this year has been just fucking wild in terms of the inconsistency. It's like everyone is on one hand routinely knocking it through from 55 out and then missing extra points and wild shit that like Justin Tucker, come on, man, an extra point and 2 field goals in that were all gettable by, what you would assume his standards are. It's been fucking nuts.
It was nuts. And Bryce Young is back. I'm happy with this one. So we'll talk about that later. Injuries.
There's a few important ones, Jim, this week. We're going to start with the fact that we said last week that they were cooked. We said that the 49ers were getting injury-ridden and a little bit fucky. And now they've lost CMC for the season and Jordan Mason as well. So that backfield is all of a sudden struggle town. You've then got fucking how Trevor Lawrence still has, I don't know, a head.
Yeah, cognitive function is like a big thing, I think. Yeah.
Fucking wild. That obviously there was in the Jags game, there was he scramble, slide, taken the fuck out, and fight ensues. And funnily enough, Trev's off and Big Mac Jones steps in.
But offsetting penalties. So,
apparently, yeah.
Why not? It's because the guy ran over and tried to fight the guy who nearly fucking killed a dude. You're like, what are we doing here? It's insane.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, 100%. Taysom Hill's done. His knee explodes.
Ugh.
And he looks Dunskies. Lad McConkley is going through some things. Sure. And Dallas Goedert's week to week went off with a bit of a knee injury. And what was the other one? Deontay Johnson for fucking Steelers just refused to walk out onto the field during the game, and we're refusing to comment. So
Nice.
We'll see what happens with the Ravens, but it was not injury related. But I needed to flick that in there somewhere, so we'll put it in the injury section.
He's a pretty chill dude who seems easy to deal with.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, let's wrap up some games then. Chicago just lost to Detroit in hilarious fashion, 23-20. Because reasons like Eberflus decided not to call a timeout. They decided to throw the ball and the time ran out. You're like, what the fuck is happening? You morons, basically.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah, it's worth stepping through that. So obviously they're within 3 points, got time on the clock. They're marching down. Caleb Watt takes a sack to take him back to the 41 or somewhere around that. They've got the ball running back to get set with, I think it was somewhere between 35 and 31 seconds on the clock. They take forever to get absolute set. And it's just like, what the fuck's going on? So it gets down to third, and really they were never going to get the first down. So you just either assuming that they're going to take the timeout there, or at least run the play to get something closer, 10 yards closer, take the timeout, kick it, go to overtime, happy days. But there's this glitch in the matrix where just no one gets set. It gets to under 6 seconds. Fucking Eberflus is standing there like, what's going on?
Oh.
And then the decision from Caleb is an infield bomb to Rome that even if it was caught was
didn't do anything.
Time's out, game's over, and everyone's standing around going, "What the fuck?" It was mind blowing. There was 2 decisions: call the timeout, get a play, and run up and snap it, or run the play, call the timeout, shoot the field goal. They got to do none of it, Jim.
It was unbelievable.
None of it.
It was a Thanksgiving miracle of just absurd fuck uppedness. It was great. I loved it. I enjoyed it a lot. Speaking of enjoying stuff. Dallas 27, Giants 20. Just weird. Weird game. Just gross. You're like,
so
come on, man.
Interesting fact about this game. It was the highest recorded viewing audience of like Thanksgiving and the highest between these two teams and like for a long time. And people were like, look at the fan bases. No, both of them assumed that the other team was that fucking shit. It was the only chance they were going to get a
We
win
might
for
get
the
a
rest
win.
of the year. And so they piled on the public holiday. And it was just a bit fucky.
Well, yeah, it was a great point because between the two of them, they've both been shit all season. Like combine 6 wins going into the game, and you're like, we're gonna get a win, hooray! It's gonna be a Thanksgiving miracle, and then it was not. And like the Cowboys were fine-ish. Like this game sucked. Like it was just brutal to watch. But then it was like kind of tight, and you're like, oh, actually, this is kind of fun. And then I feel like there's another side to this where it's the hate watching for someone like yourself, Gaz.
Yep.
NFC East denizen is going, fucking hate both these teams. Fuck them. And you're like, but you're just basically sitting there, no pants on Thanksgiving, just going, this is great. Hanging out, watching them beat the shit out of each other.
100%. I could not lose in this game because on one hand, I've got, Mike has been off his fucking head since he came back. Like, it's been amazing. That defense is getting healthy. They're starting to pick up. And all they're doing is playing themselves into worse draft position. So if whoever fucking wins, either Cowboys get shamed by losing to fucking Drew Lock, or they win, and now I think they're 13th, 14th, according to Tankathon in the first round. And then even after a loss, I think based on the results of the Raiders and Jags, maybe the Giants actually dropped 2 spots in the draft order, and I think they're 3rd at the moment.
Amazing.
So like it was fucking winners all around.
I love it. Not winners, Miami in Green Bay, 17-30. My mate was there, and I just felt bad for him because he's a Dolphins fan, and like he, sent me a couple of videos. Like that's awesome, amazing seats. Bit like those the classic meteorological term, meteorological. There you go.
Yeah.
Temperature is, but also then the feels like. It was 16 Fahrenheit, it felt like.
Oof.
Now, I'm no meteorologist, not anymore, but that's below zero by a lot in terms of Celsius, and you're like, that's fucked, mate. And he's wearing 5 layers of clothing. And then, so the thing is, like Buffalo and Green Bay, when it's these cold, like they're the 2 clear standout favorites of like when it's fucking freezing cold, snowy drifts and all that sort of shit. There's nothing better. Unless you're there, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Fuck that. Yeah. Anyway, Green Bay just kicked the fuck out of him, and he's just like, we never had a chance. It was too cold. And I loved it because Mike McDaniels and Tua were like, we're going to fucking bust up these narratives, and then got completely mown down by the narratives of we can't play in the cold. So, sucked in.
100%. And then on the other hand, if we look at looking at Green Bay, they are just seemingly getting stronger and stronger at the right time, right? Like Love is just efficient, 21 of 28. 272 and a couple of touchdowns. Jacobs didn't need much from him. Did he go off injured a little bit? He's got a bit of a hammy or something playing up a little bit. But apart from that defense, keeping Miami, keeping Tyreek and Waddle in check and keeping them to thanks, dude. And to 17 points. Trending in different directions.
Big Packers fan, Oshie. Then we had Black Friday. We had Raiders Chiefs in another insane game where AOC.
What the fuck?
AOC has the chance to like win the game or just like do anything, but they threw it into his face or botched the snap basically for no reason, and chaos ensued, and they lose 19-17.
Like it took, that a play is fucky when the camera guys who are trained to do this day in, day out completely miss it. Like, we're all just, all right, come on. You've got a chance here in field goal range. We know what happened last time a team got into field goal range to knock these Chiefs off. Blocked field goal, kissed on the dick. All right, let's see what we can do here. And then all of a sudden, the camera angle just scrambles. And we're like, what the fuck? Rookie center heard something, snaps the ball, but then there was the whole conflict of, all right, well, was it a false start? In which case the play should have been blown dead, play never happened, blah, blah, blah. They've conferred, One judge said it was a false start. The other one comes in and says, oh, nah, that was an illegal formation. And therefore the play is live, recovered by Chiefs. The illegal formation can be declined, which of course is what Andy Reid did. Ball with the Chiefs, kissed on the dick again, game over.
11-1.
Jesus, how many one-score games and how many times did they have a chance to be beaten and then it just happens? So, there was a highlight video on Twitter of like all of the things that have happened. The luckiest team. There was pass interference that was called that was questionable in their favor. There was the Falcons one in the end zone where not even facing the ball, the Chiefs defender jumped straight into, I think it was Drake London, and it was not a non-call. And then there's the blocked field goal that they should have lost. And then there's this one, and that's all in one season.
Yep.
Jesus.
It's like, I don't know. Mine's Outback Takehouse. The refs don't want to get on the bad side of the Swifties either.
Yeah.
Simple as that. So they're just going to let them win. 11-1. Raiders, hilarious. But yeah, we were messaging back and forth during this as well. It's like, yo, I was so happy I had the Raiders because it was always going to be fucky. And it was. And I still can't believe they didn't win. But anyway.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Brock Bowers, just lazy rookie, 10 receptions, 140 yards.
Yeah, well, AOC slung it everywhere. That's kind of the thing. Like the Chiefs are going to go down as like this insanely, obviously back-to-back Super Bowls. They might win a third. But they're also going to go down as like the weirdest fucking luckiest team that just kept winning these bullshit games. And like, you'd have like a massive spread and you never took them because they always pulled some fucking win out of their ass. It's crazy. AOC had 340 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Like, what?
Yep.
It's absurd.
Yeah, this is me who in my tips last week said, they're going to start Desmond Ridder and not really processing. And then I remember messaging you during the game going, oh, no, I forgot about AOC. Not that he's setting the world on fire, but he definitely slings it better than Desmond fucking Ridder.
He also doesn't look like he's a guy who can set the world on fire unless it was by mistake. He's got like one of the dumbest looking faces out there.
100%.
Like, oof. Into the Monday games, the Colts beat the Pats 25-24. Pats tried a 68-yard field goal for the win. That was pretty. Just another classic, amazing Jared Mayo decision tree. Like the decision tree there is incredible, no doubt. Funny gear. Pats, this was the perfect tanking loss. And like, I don't know. I'm trying my hardest not to like teach the squids that it's okay to go for losing. Because, you know, you want to foster a winning environment. That's how you do. But at the same time, you're trying not to like go, oh, that's great that the Colts did that. And the Pats are going to lose because, but Dad, we go for the Pats. Like, yes, but we're 3-10 now. This is good.
We also go for the Pats having better players.
Yeah. So anyway, look, Drake May's awesome. I'm going to keep saying that he looks fucking great. But some of the incredible decision-making of the Pats of like going, hey, can Tony Richardson, do you reckon he could run a QB draw? Nah, probably not. And in a surprise twist, Tony Richardson, who's built like a brick shithouse and is massive and is always going to do a QB draw and run for a touchdown. Guess what he did, Gaz? Yeah, he did that. So you and I could have probably just gone, I reckon he might do that. Jared Mayo and all these incredible brain genius like coacherisms went, nah, probably not, man. And then boom. Still, good loss. We'll take it. 25-24.
But there's a lot of the Shane Steichen getting that win. It showed some balls, like scored the touchdown for the, had the chance to go to overtime. Fuck that. Go on 2-point conversion.
Love it.
Happy day. Big balls. But also, since being benched and now he's come back, it's different. These quarterbacks. Tony Richardson's he's back. He was 12 of 24 for 109 yards.
Yeah, he's
2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
He's still shit. He's just not as shit as Joe Flacco. Like, it's awesome.
Cool your fucking Jets. Yeah.
But yeah, like it's very rare where you go. Like, I was rooting for Shane Steichen to go for it as well. I'm like, I don't want this fucking game to go to overtime. I just want them to win. So I'm just fucking done with this game. And then he did it. And you're like, yes, mate, that's awesome. Because you know that the Pats tried to do that ever. Like, they'd fuck it up because Mayo's a moron. Chargers 17, Falcons 13. Fun game. I'm jumping all over the spot, FYI. Kirk Cousins just fuck this one. It was hilarious.
Dude, like the 4 picks that Chargers defense is legit, but come on, mate.
Yep.
You're getting paid a shit ton of money with a first round draft pick breathing down your neck. The division, you're thinking like, just stay ahead. You've beaten the Bucks twice. Just stay ahead. Keep this. And the fucking no touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Amazing.
And they were horrible looking, like,
he
interceptions
too.
Like,
who are you throwing into triple coverage? Like, what are you doing? Like, one of the easiest pick sixes you'll ever see. It's like unbelievable. Anyway.
Meanwhile, we continue on the world of Kyle Pitts is 1 week on, 1 week off. Like, I've got no idea. Didn't trouble the scorers and had 2 targets this year.
I didn't start him in fantasy. It's like, yeah. Great win for the Chargers on a short week, going west to east as well, so good for them. Pittsburgh 44, Cincy 38. So everyone who was going unders, what the fuck? This was like the highest scoring first half they'd ever had, these two teams against each other. Rusty Wilson was throwing it on a fucking frozen rope. It was ridiculous. And the Bengals defense is horrible.
The highest number of yards in a first half in his entire career.
That's absurd.
Right? That's fucking wild. Considering what these guys have done. But Joe Burrow's got to be like, I don't know. Can we do an old mate, no mates for the entire Bengals fucking defense?
Yep. They're
What's
horrible.
that, like
They're killing him.
4 that he's scored over 30 points and lost this year?
There is the amazing stat where it's like, I think for the yard marks of like, for the touchdowns that he's thrown, the yards that he's thrown, all the stuff that he's done and taken care of on his side of the ball, his like win likelihood is like through the fucking roof. And it's like the Tom Brady level of accuracy and excellence where Tom Brady was backed up by his defense. Tom was like 22-1 with these same sort of stat markers, and like Joe Burrow's like 2-9 or some shit. So
when you look at stats like Patrick Mahomes this year, right? That's
same vibe. Anyway, that was a chaos game. Rusty Wilson fucking goes bang, 414 yards, 3 touchdowns, was really fucking good. So
it's fucking insane. The bit that I can't get across is the turnaround. At the beginning of the year, we spoke about this Steelers team and we're like, they've got to go out red hot in the first half because the second half of this year, we just don't see that they'll be able to score enough points to go on to what they did last year. To keep up with the teams that they've got to play. But we look at, this is a Rusty Wilson who could not survive with Sean Payton last year in Denver, and Courtland Sutton, and that was all he had, and it was just fucking rubbish, and it was just horrendous. And you're like, well, maybe Sean Payton's not that great a coach, and maybe Rusty's cooked, and not let Rusty cook, but look, Rusty's cooked. And then all of a sudden, you get a random rookie QB, and you put Rusty with Tomlin, and both are equally succeeding. It's fucking nuts.
I love it.
This game.
Seattle 26, Jets 21. Took a bit, but they got there in the end. Gino, baby! Bit of revenge. Love this. Very funny, weird game. The Jets didn't score in the second half, and the Seahawks did. So that's how they won. It was fucking... Aaron Rodgers is more cooked than one of my old man snags. I keep saying it. Like, it's just, he's fucked. And it's like, we should know this, Gaz. You've torn an Achilles. We're looking at Kirk Cousins. It's the same shit. Tom Brady played to a 43 because he's a fucking freak of nature. You know who else has done that? Fucking that's right, nobody.
No one.
Like, he's one of one for a reason. Like, stop trying to replicate it. And here we are. Anyway, Jets are horrible. Good job by the Seahawks. Again, traveling east, great win.
So with this score, it's what? So it's official. Nine losing seasons eliminated. Their record since the Aaron Rodgers signing is fucking horrendous. They've gone and got him more weapons. They had a decent running game, they had a decent secondary, and then we're still looking at 3-9. Fuck,
unbelievable. Arizona 22, Minnesota 23. My absolute favorite game of the week. Why is that, Jim? Well, so I bet the Cards. And I also had Aaron Jones in my touchdown multi, which won with 5 different touchdown scorers. Happy days there for you, mate Jim. But also, it all came together right at the end. To the point where I'm sitting, like the squids are just at the table, old mates at the table as well. And they're like, geez, why is Dad losing his shit? It's just the Vikings Cardinals. I'm like, yes, motherfucker. Yeah, we're getting some shoes. Like, it was gnarly because Aaron Jones got that last touchdown after dropping one earlier where I'm just like, oh, yeah, this bet's never going to hit. And the Cards still cover. And Minnesota get the Aaron Jones touchdown win, pull it out of their ass. It was nuts. And, like, this was a really fun game. Like, it wasn't great high scoring or anything, and it was just consistently, like, engaging, which was really fun. So the Cards, look, they're sort of this team, and the Vikings are, you know, built around this blitzing defense and Darnold not fucking up gigantically, and it's sort of working to the tune where, you know, they're 10-2, but like the sneakiest 10-2 in the entire NFL.
Yeah, I think there was 3 key games this week that that the whole league fan base was on the edge of their seat going, this is going to be the one, right? So the Bears coming down against the Lions, you know, the Raiders coming down against the Chiefs, and then this one, like, oh, the Cards are in a really, really competitive division, like holding them off. This could be the one where they show up as legit. Like, they've got the lead here. It's only a defense with a defensive head coach who's known for bend don't fucking break that could fuck this up. And then Darnold, you know, sneaks through. The one that the meme that I'm appreciating this week is the John Daly meme of, like, you know, the golfer and then John Daly standing there with a fucking cigar and leaning on his stick, disheveled. It's like the Lions at 10-1, and then fucking Daly is the Vikes just sitting there going, this is what we fucking do, right? Awesome. Yeah, whatever.
Good job.
It's just fucking nuts. You just don't see they're winning. And Darnold, early season MVP conversation going, who the fuck's that guy? He's fallen off that wagon, but they just keep chipping out the wins. Yeah.
Brian Flores, Kevin O'Connell, they're crushing it. I love it.
Yeah.
42, Washington. Tennessee, 19. This was an absolute just pantsing. It was like 28-0 or whatever it was. And then it wasn't. And then it was again. Because they got up to like 10 or whatever out of nowhere, I think the Titans, didn't they? And like then sort of were sneaking around a bit. You're like, hang on a second. Oh, shit. And then, they didn't again. So,
so I think they had, the game jumped out of the blocks because I think my wrap or prediction in this was that, so before this game, Eckler had been put on IR, and coming out of last week, Brian Robinson was a little bit gimpy. So we're like, oh, well, you know what? Jaden Daniels is, he's been rough in the last couple of weeks. This is a top 5 defense coming in from Tennessee. This is going to be fucking great. I think it was 4 of the first 5 drives they scored touchdowns, Jim.
Yep.
4 of the first fucking 5. And it was, Terry McLaurin was like, early in that game was just going off his fucking head.
Yep.
Brian Robinson was like, oh, no, Eckler, it's fine. Well, off we go. But once again, Will Levis just will have a whole bunch of nothing and then a couple of fucking rocket arm plays.
Absolute bomb to Westbrook Akine.
Westbrook Akine, who's got, what's the stat? It was like
18 catches for the year and 6 of them or 7 of them are touchdowns.
8 of them now. I think, because he had 2 in this game. So, so of the more than 50% of his catches this year have been touchdowns. Amazing.
Well, that's good. Anyway, it was a smashing. Good job, Washington. They needed that. Houston 23, Jacksonville 20. That was the most Jacksonville-Houston game you could ever imagine. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. As we mentioned, this is the big one with the huge fucking hit from Al-Shazier.
Yep.
And you're just like, oh, that's gonna.
And then it was the Mac attack.
Yeah. Mac
Jones is not good. I don't know what the fuck happened to Mac Jones. Like, there was a minute there where he was all right. And I'm like, yeah, I can see this. He's a little bit small. We get it. It's fine. And then Belichick just ruined his confidence just so completely and utterly that I don't know if he's ever going to be like useful again. That's maybe just the Matt Patricia effect, though. It's like, hey, here's your offensive coordinator. And you're like, but that's Matt Patricia. And it's like, yes. Oh, like that just ruined your confidence right there, right? Anyway, like he just missed open dudes. He had a couple of nice throws here and there, but yeah, they came back into this. But Houston, this is why I took Jacksonville. Like Houston just play stupid, janky games all the time, guys. And this was a stupid, janky game where they couldn't put away Jacksonville properly, despite like not having their fucking QB. Like it's just bizarre.
Yeah.
So,
I think the and I've just read this afternoon, the quote from D'Amico Ryans. Like I've got a lot of time for D'Amico Ryans. He's as a coach as when he was a player, both for the Texans and for the Eagles. But he's come out and said this whole Aziz hit on the guy, their sidelines overreacted and created a melee. It wasn't our guys. Then they stand behind Aziz and everything that came from that. It's unfortunate to hit on the quarterback. And then it's this key bit, Jim. I mean, a lot of quarterbacks in this day and age, they try and take advantage of the new rule where they can slide late. And they try and get that extra yards. And now you're the defender, and a lot of the onus is on the defender on whether blah, 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 blah. Dude, that hit was fucking brutal. I get the apology that came out for him. It was
did D'Amico Ryans just do what was she wearing? Oh my God, bro, dude, don't do that, D'Amico. Yeah. You're fucked.
Yeah. Dude, I'm like, all right, I get it. The apology came out from Aziz, and he goes, oh, yeah, look, I get that. He goes, he apologized. He said that he'd spoken to Trev before the game and wished him all the best. We all want to go home to our families and all that sort of stuff. And then just going, yeah, but what was he supposed to do? And the defense is just not fucking great. Anyway, but he's expected to be, he was ejected and expected to be suspended. So anyway, it's their fucking, and then they snuck out a win.
And now Houston are like, yeah, they're 8-5, and you're like, yeah, but I'm still never convinced by them. So here we are.
No. Yep.
Rams 21, Saints 14. This was a clogged toilet game, but the Saints didn't win it. Like the Rizzler might have just shit up the place, but it was more about shitting up this game was nuts, and it felt like the Saints could have won it at any point. And then Taysom Hill goes out, and you're like, oh, well, they're not going to win it now. Like it was weird and kind of like gross, but kind of fun. And I think that's because we got to this point of the day, and there's only a couple of games. I fucking love this Thanksgiving slate for the simple fact is we had so few games early that you can concentrate on kind of all of them. And these mid-afternoon games, there's like the Eagles-Ravens basically by itself, and only Saints, Rams, and Bucks, Panthers going on at the same time. It was really easy to follow it all.
Yep.
And this game was kind of like fucking weird. You turn around and go, there's Alvin Kamara doing crazy. Oh, wait, no, the Rams are scoring again. What the fuck is happening? Stafford's getting run over. Oh, God, but he's throwing a touchdown to Nakua. Like, it was nuts. So,
yeah,
fun one.
Yeah, it's when we talked about the roller coaster of Josh Allen that happens every year, we also have the roller coaster of Taysom Hill where he just goes, he's missing, and we're like, oh, that whole Taysom Hill experiment's been done and dusted, and that's never going to take effect again. And then all of a sudden he has a purple patch for a few weeks, and then something happens like today where his knee explodes, and you go, oh, well, they're cooked now because Taysom's gone. Well, hang on.
Bizarre.
4 weeks ago we were saying this guy was irrelevant. Anyway.
Yep. Good job by the Rams. They're 6-6 and still a chance in the West, which is pretty gnarly. Tampa Bay 26, Carolina 23 in overtime. Yes, mate. Bryce Young, you little ripper. The Thielen catch, the one-hander, that was gnarly. They kicked the PAT. They took the lead, kicked the PAT. 30 seconds left. Baker goes, you fucking idiots. Check this out. Drives down the field, kicks the game-tying field goal. Boom. Go to overtime. They win it. Carolina. I like that they've tried to play it safe, but at this, you're Carolina. Like, you know your shit. Try to win the game. Don't kick the PAT. What the fuck are you doing? Like, it was bizarre. Anyway, fun game though, Tampa Bay.
But look, they're coming back and saying, since he's benching Bryce has played himself into franchise quarterback status. We're not going to take a QB. We're not interested in the first round this year. So maybe that there's hope on
So
the
he's not
horizon.
Josh
I
Rosen
don't know.
then. That's good.
Yeah, apparently.
Philly 24, Baltimore 19. This was fun, Gaz.
Who was it ever, Jim? I've watched these highlights about 15 times. Look, it was a game that we all had slated as an Eagles loss, as in the fan base, and that was the prediction. It was going to show a lot on who the teams were. Come out and we moved the ball a little bit, but Lamar moved down the field, field goal. Lamar moved down the field, touchdown, and a beautiful catch in traffic with Andrews, and missed the extra point, and that's where it was almost like it kind of started to unravel. Eagles moved down the field a little bit efficiently. Saquon was doing a few things, but nothing over the top. Scored the touchdown, and then there was just it was starting to move around that halftime. We scored the second touchdown in that first half, and then the adjustments, the Vic Fangio adjustments that have happened every fucking game, just went on lockdown. Jalen Carter was an absolute fucking menace in the middle. Like they tried some trick plays with Zay Flowers around the end, and Jalen Carter was like, no fucking chance. I'm in the backfield. A few of those things. There was no stats over the top in this game. Like Jalen Hurts ended up with 11 of 19, 118 yards, but just seemed to be efficient and hit AJ Brown when he wanted to, and Dallas got it when he wanted to. Lamar was still doing fucking crazy Lamar things like, hey, watch this, dickheads, chase me around the backfields, and then I'm going to find Zay Flowers, fucking 30 yards down the field. But then I think the key stats were the Eagles held Desert Henry under 100 yards, and anytime they go over 100 yards, the fucking Ravens win. And then Saquon in the second half. They had not had anyone score over 60 yards on them in a game this year. I think Najee was the 63 yards. Saquon had 60 over that in the second half. The 25-yard touchdown. And then it was just kind of kept them at a distance, kept them to 12 points, that offense to 12 points until the last minute of the game. And then she was over. But the story of the game was obviously Justin Tucker missed extra point, missed 2 field goals. That, not would have let them win, but it would have been a much different playing strategy if that had gone down.
An extra 7 points on your total probably would have helped.
Definitely would have helped.
Just saying. Crazy game, though. Like, it's just, all it did for me was reaffirm that the Eagles are kind of legit to go in there and stop the league-leading offense, hold them to, as you mentioned, 12 points basically for most of that game. It was gnarly. And Baltimore at home, it just sort of served again. I kind of haven't been wildly convinced of them all year because the defense has just been that inconsistent, I guess, more than anything. Because there's been moments where I'm like, they're fucking awesome. The offense is obviously really, really good, but they do have these question marks every so often. It's like, who are they going to throw to? It's like, well, here's Mark Andrews. And it's like, hey, have you covered Zay Flowers today? It's like, yes. Then it's like, oh, we're probably going to win.
Yeah.
Weird. Then we had the Niners 10, Buffalo 35 in the snow game. This was fun as shit. Anyone who says snow games and weather games are fucking not that good for football is an idiot and a dork and a nerd, and I fucking hate them. Shut up. It was awesome. James Cook, 107 yards. Every time he broke off one of those runs, you're like, it would suck to try to catch a dude like that in the snow. It would be fun, but it would suck. 107 in the end. Josh Allen, the 2 rushing touchdowns as well, wasn't it? No. Yes. No, just the one.
Just the one.
It was sick.
But he had the receiving touchdown, Jim.
Right. Oh, I forgot to mention the Lamar hurdle.
Yes.
The would-be hurdle. He tried to do the Saquon, and it didn't work.
No.
He shouldn't have hurdled. He should just run through the fucking dude. He would have actually got the down. But anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Josh Allen reception in the touchdown, wasn't it? Yeah. Which is where he just did fun shit and end up with the 2 touchdowns, and it was awesome. So
so he passed it. It was a short pass to the receiver, but then he's kind of followed it up. So as the receiver's getting tackled, he's lateraled back to Allen, who had space and got in there. So it counts as both a passing touchdown and a reception.
Awesome.
And he had the rush as well. So Yeah, awesome.
But yeah, Niners are cooked. We called it fucking weeks ago. It's like, there's a line of demarcation for injuries and they went past it. And then today, Denver 41, Cleveland 32. A fucking chaos game. I love a good chaos Monday night football game, and this was one of them. Denver's defense, those last 2 touchdowns. Whoa, boy. That was pretty crazy because it felt like Denver were going to completely cook this, and then they turned it around on its head out of absolutely nowhere, basically, defensively, because Jameis went, have the ball.
The most Jameis game that ever Jameised. 497 yards, 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Like,
what a hell of a day.
Shit.
What a hell of a day. Like, that's the fucking, what is the Jimmy V thing, isn't it? Every day you got to laugh, you got to cry, and you got to do something else, and you've had a full day. And it's like, that's what a Jameis game should be. 497, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Love it.
Yep. Yeah. And Jerry Jeudy in his kind of revenge game and his game with Pat Surtain, 235 yards. This is Jerry Jeudy who you're like, I'll take a risk and start him in my fantasy. I need a good 4 points. And then Jerry Jeudy just fucking goes off.
I love it.
Jesus Christ. Anyway.
That's just what he does now, right? Didn't he? He went off for 142 in New Orleans 2 weeks ago. Like, it's absurd.
Yep.
Anyway, Bo Nix, pretty good. Fun dude. Fun game. Thing is, one of those ones where you go, the 2 interceptions and stuff like that. The Jaden Daniels game, I reckon that offensive rookie of the year race is fucking on for young and old right now, which is awesome.
Yep.
So,
well, there was the drive where they were backed up in their own, almost their own end zone. It's like, he needs 6 yards here. Over the top to Mims? Yeah, 93 will do.
Yeah.
So if you look at his 294 yards, 93 of that came on one play.
That's awesome. Mims just making dudes miss as well. I love it when he gets off. He has like one of those like every month, I reckon, Mims. Yeah. You're like, nice. Can you do it every week? He's like, nah. Can do it. But the Browns like pushing them all the way was pretty crazy. Broncos now 8-5, and will probably be that 7 seed, which is crazy. Good on them.
Yeah,
I love that.
I mean, was it? And they had that vaunted Cleveland defense, 0 sacks and 2 QB hits.
Yeah, I think that vaunted Cleveland defense gave up after about week 4.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
Nars. Couple of Nars for you guys. Bryce Young, he's okay, yeah. So, should we always just fucking pump the brakes and not shit on young QBs so early? Yeah, nah.
Yeah, 100%. That there was obviously the trend. Actually, the expectation these days is, if you're a top pick, we should just be able to slot you straight in. When if there's anything that Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, that patience has shown is, get these guys time to adjust. I think I've thrown it before on this on this podcast that Drew Brees, who's pretty good at quarterbacking, Jim, said, I don't judge a QB until their 3rd season because that's when the game just slows down and just starts to click.
Yeah, there's like a dude named Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady, didn't start straight away. Just saying. Yep. Pretty good dudes.
Yeah.
So that was the Drake May vibe for me this year, right? Of like, just fucking let him chill. Like, don't throw him right in the deep end. You've already seen Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, like they've had these moments where they've been awesome, a couple of shit moments as well. Drake May's been fucking super solid. So probably 6 weeks or so of like watching shit just evolve and how the game works is probably good. Yeah. McCaffrey. We kind of all saw this one coming, didn't we? Yeah, nah.
As in, tread's gone off the tire.
I'm pretty sure
start falling apart.
we brought this up on the show, didn't we? It's like, I don't know, a fucking cold ass game with a dude with both Achilles all fucked. Do you think we quite literally, I think, said it on this show last week. It's like, I don't think that's a fucking great idea. Boom. He fucking does a PCL and like it also looked like there was one of those great ones of like the slow-mo of his fucking just leg imploding essentially as it goes up the muscle and everyone's like, he's blown an Achilles. And we haven't heard anything about that, but yeah, not great.
No, definitely not. And then we've got to see the PCL in season injuring, but could have been way fucking worse. But as we said, this guy has got a lot of wear and tear over the last few years of both out of the backfield and rushing the ball itself. So that cliff is running back cliffs can come at you hard, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see. Maybe it's going to be the best for him that it does get shut down in that season, that it's over, and he has a full off season coming in rather than playing rubbish games for the rest of the year.
His dad came out and said, "It's like, yeah, well, if he can go, he's going to go. It doesn't matter about the playoffs." I'm like, no, just fucking chill, bro. Like, you're done. Last one, Josh Allen, MVP. Yeah, nah.
I think so. I was kind of. I think I've said it before that I don't want to lose my offensive player of the year, the 50-1 money that I put on to Saquon at the beginning of the year, because he's won the MVP, and then I want to give them both things. But it's after the Lamar's not amazing performance to get his team over the line. I just don't think that he's up showing what Allen has been, particularly the scrambles. He lost Diggs. We were like, oh, is this the guy? He's got no weapons anymore, but he's made do with what he's done, and he's just seems to have been driving that team. It feels like a more complete Bills team than it has been for a few years. And so it feels almost like it's the Allen versus Saquon race at the moment. But it's a quarterback award, so
yeah, it's
Allen.
weird because Saquon is the second favorite, but like Mahomes. It's probably done. Joe Burrow is still throwing for 3,337 yards. Just saying. 30 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, which is chaos. Lamar's he's got 29 and 3, but it feels like Lamar is such a game-to-game proposition for the MVP combo. He has like a shit game, and you're like, oh, see, not MVP. And then he'll have like an awesome game. He's like, he's back in front. Whereas Josh Allen has just been fucking very good all year. So anyway, good bloke of the week. Bryce Young. I'm just happy for him. Like, he's earned himself like another go around at least next year, and away we go. DeMarvion overshone with the pick six, which was pretty funny, and I love that.
Tipped the ball up to himself,
Very
and
nice.
then raced that in. Yep.
Jameis. His face when he threw that last interception, I'm just like, my heart broke. I'm like, I just want to buy him a beer. He's had a full fucking day, this poor bloke. Go get him a tin. And Josh Allen for getting engaged and also taking the lead in the MVP vibes, getting engaged to the chick who always does like the raised eyebrow, wait, what? In every fucking movie. And you're like, I'm just, nah, just can't. But anyway, good on him. Anyway, anyone else you want to throw out there for bloke of the week?
Vic Fangio for me, but anyway.
That's a good one. Old mate, no mates. Well, Aziz Al-Shahir, that's not great. Everyone's trying to punch on with him. Kirk Cousins. Oh, shoot. I threw another interception. Oh, geez. Oh, gee, Willikers. Gosh darn it. Justin Tucker. Old mate, no mates. Everybody in that, like, it did come up, like, it's floating around Twitter. It's like, would you cut Justin Tucker?
Yeah.
You can't do it, right? Like,
and the question's been asked of,
just some yips.
Like,
crazy.
Like, when it gets down to season on the line, like, I mean, they're going to make the playoffs, obviously, but they're behind now. Like, that Steelers is hard to catch.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you're in the playoffs, if he's not improving the basic shit, like, you don't want it on the line in the playoffs. And
clank.
But you can't disrespect the
GOAT.
a Hall of Famer. The weird thing is, I think I can't remember, it might have been Heat the Call that I was listening to, and they're talking about it's the only team in the league with a special teams coordinator as their head coach, and the only team in the league that has a designated kicking coach and has for the last 15 plus years. There you go. They just kind of assume that kickers know what they're doing, and you just got to play yourself into form. Whereas, anyway.
Old mate, no mates, AOC, and that entire Raiders team basically at the end of that game. And then obviously Eberflus, because he got fired by the Bears for the first time ever, which is still chaos that they've never done it when they've had so many shit coaches, especially over the last few decades. But that also leads very quickly into an Outback Takehouse. It is Tuesday, and I guess we're just We beat the shit out of a possum in the backyard. So we chucked her on the spit over the barbie. Boom. Slow roasted possum. It's only at Outback. Today's flame grilled take is Eberflus threw that game so he'd get fired because he didn't want to work over the holidays, guys. Yeah, that's it.
Well, to be fair, I was like, I've got plans at the end of the year and I'm not going to make the playoffs. So if I get fired, they'd have to pay me.
Get paid out I'll be fine. And I don't have to work. Best of both. Yep. I was going to get fired anyway. Like, that's great.
Seems like no one likes me. Yeah. So, let's just do it. Wrap it up.
If I was in his position as well, you'd have this little thing in the back of your brain going, let's just see what happens here.
Yep.
What are they going to do? Fire me? And if they do, I don't fucking care. I'm going to get fired anyway. Boom. Good on you, Eberflus. Aussie Battler of the Week, Aussie Outlook. Mailata had a couple of moments in that Ravens game up against Farlele, which is pretty fun. Same game. Mitch Wish is on the IR. Heard he's back, obviously. And outside of that, not much to report. Captain Fantasy. Oh, your mate Jim got a big win this week. Who was that over?
Fuck off.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It was you. Fuck. That's pretty good.
I thought I was going to starting out all right at the beginning of this week, and then Pitts put up a big fucking donut, and you had a couple of big players that went all right. Yeah. Even Josh Allen's miracle game couldn't sort me.
In the end, it was actually a shit pumping, 138-94. We had some really good ones as well across the NFL Straya Legends League, though. 2 more weeks until I need a new QB up against All You Need Is Love. It's like a 6-point game. That's like a top 6 clash, that sort of stuff. You had a really close one, Big Dickerson Energy up against Judo Chop Robinson. It's a 4-point game. And another 6-point game between Nowhere to Go But Up, who actually finally got a fucking win in ages, up against Josh and De Bears in Purgatory, which is pretty funny, just laying on the smack for his crazy week. So, fun one. And I think it also means that a whole bunch of our, everything is even just closer than it was. I think 2 through 10, there's a couple of games only splitting them now, and Gaz might be out of the running, just saying.
Oh, yeah, I'm cooked. I was cooked halfway through the year. When Tua came back and Tyreek didn't go off his head, that was me, nunskis.
And in terms of actual, scoring players this week in fantasy, we had some pretty gnarly ones. As mentioned, like Jerry Jeudy just going bananas, had 36 points, but Jameis still ended up with 36 as well because of the almost 500 yards. Jaden Daniels goes with 28, Josh Allen 28, Rusty Wilson almost 28, Caleb Williams 26, Bucky Irving. We didn't even mention him in the Tampa Bay game. He was off his fucking head as well. He had 26. He was gnarly. Lamar, Brock Bowers, you mentioned him earlier, 25 points, 25 in the cold, 23 for Bryce Young. Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, and Bijan helping out my team with 23 and 22 respectively. Not bad. Right. Let's set up for week 14 though, Gaz. We've got buys in week 14, which is fucking stupid.
Particularly in the fantasy world.
Six teams on buys, and it's just completely fucking everyone's fantasy going into playoff seeding and shit, basically. But we do have an incredible Friday game. So week 14, NFL Straya picks. Let's do it. Green Bay at Detroit. The Lions, 3.5-point favorites here at home. I am taking the Green Bay Packers, getting the plus 3.5, Gaz. That Detroit defense is a little bit bagged up. I'm going to take the plus 3.5. You're taking Detroit.
I went backwards and forwards on this 4 times, and I could easily go either way, and I might change that at the end of the fucking, this week. Green Bay's on the up and up. I actually went Green Bay first, and then I'm like, Detroit at home, inside. If this was at Green Bay, I would have, I would 100% have flipped the other way, but I'm going to ride the home team. I'm really hoping that this is the Green Bay one that Detroit drop.
Yeah, so. Look, I want to take Detroit because I love them. I just love Detroit. They're fun. And I've sort of talked out how great they are, especially indoors, but it sort of feels like I reckon there's going to be one sort of blippy, shitty game that they just go, what the fuck happened there? It's like, all of our defenders were hurt. You're like, yeah, that's the weird game that they lost to Green Bay. Tennessee hosts Jacksonville. We've both gone Tennessee. This is just, I don't fucking care about this game. It's just the home team. Sure.
Yeah.
Right? Jacksonville 100%. Suck. So did Tennessee. Jets, Miami, NFC East battle, which is pretty funny. Miami still floating around, causing all sorts of havoc, but they're done now in terms of the playoffs, basically. 2 losses back from Denver, but 3 wins obviously down. So it's a bit of a weird one. I still think they're going to be fine at home against this horrible Jets team, Gaz. So do you.
Yeah, I don't like the 6.5 points because Aaron might have 3 plays in the first half to Adams and gets a lead, and then we're chasing that thing. But Miami in the warm or in their weather at home, yeah, I'll stick with Miami.
Yep. Minnesota, Atlanta, the Kirk Cousins Bowl. Let's go. 5-point favorites are the Minnesota Vikings. We're going to go, both of us, Minnesota, just because I think that defense getting after Kirk Cousins, who can't fucking move, could be disastrous, I think, for the Falcons.
Yeah, the other thing we didn't touch on earlier was that Atlanta has notoriously been unable to get to the quarterback. It's all been on, trying to have some coverage on defense and then putting up a bunch of points. And they finally got they finally got 5 sacks in the game, and Kirk Cousins decided to spend more time passing the ball to the opposition. So look, this could be a Kirk Cousins turnaround and keep this close, but I think Minnesota's got these guys covered.
No hope. New Orleans at the Giants. We're both going New Orleans just because the Giants are a train wreck.
They are a train wreck. Obviously, you've got Carolina losing Hill. Carolina. New Orleans losing Taysom Hill. We actually don't know who's going to be starting quarterback for the Giants. They want to put Tommy DeVito in because the tank is real, but he's been nursing his injury. So they're both throwing at the moment at practice. Not that it affects this, but fuck this game.
Nice. Carolina go to Philly. Philly are 12.5-point favorites. I've taken Philly, and I feel like I should be taking Carolina, but you've taken Carolina. I want to just rub this in your face when Philly win by 13. So
yeah, this is another one that I might feel some sort of fan base self-loathing and change later in the week. At the moment, I'm going for Carolina to cover the spread. 12.5 points is a lot. This offense for the Eagles is something that we could actually put up enough points, and the defense could just choke Bryce. But I don't know, 12.5 feels like a fucking lot.
Yep, it does. But still, I think there might be one game where you just give them the clamps and Carolina just fall apart. But Carolina's been sneaky. So this might change for both of us later in the week. Pittsburgh host Cleveland. 6.5-point favorites are the Steelers. We're both gone the Steelers. I trust that Steelers defense up against that Browns thing, even though we just saw them win a shootout. So even if they do get into a shootout with Jameis, I think they can hang.
Yeah, it is weird. I knew that we were both going to launch into the Pittsburgh defense, but they just had, what was it, 38 put up on them?
Rung up on them by the Bengals.
But this is at home. And let's I think Pitts, that defense going to take that personal.
Yep.
And we'll, knock off Cleveland.
Tampa Bay touchdown favorites over the Raiders. They're horrible. We're both going Tampa Bay. AOC changes the thing a little bit, but the Bucks at home should be way too tough.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yep. Because also Tampa Bay are like, hang on a second, we can win this division. Let's fucking go. Yeah. Arizona hosts Seattle. A weird this game happened last week. What are we doing? So Seattle in Arizona. I don't really like it, but it seems tough to see Seattle keep ripping these wins off. I think if Arizona win this, they're 3-point favorites. I think if they win this, I'm taking Seattle +3. Arizona win by 1 or 2 in a close one. I'm going Seattle.
It's tight in the division. Though if you look at history, Seattle, it took Geno to make the comeback against a shitty Jets team. They were trailing significantly in that first half. Arizona were on top of a much better team in Minnesota, and then they came back. So, look, these seem... the 3 points says it. The 3 points of the home team, that's literally the home field advantage. So, the line says that this is very even. So, you've gone one, I've gone the home team. We'll see how that comes out.
Nice. Buffalo at the Rams. This should be fun. Buffalo after a snow game. Always a bit janky, I reckon. Dead legs, tired legs. maybe win it by a field goal. The Rams are 4.5-point underdogs at home, but I just don't really like, they aren't kicking this shit out of even bad teams, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm going Buffalo, and so are you.
Same. Yeah. Nothing more to add there.
All right, Chicago at San Francisco. Dead coach bounce, Gaz. Let's go, the Bears. We're both going the Bears at Niners plus 4.5. Well, yeah. Somehow the Bears aren't favored against this horrible Niners team that don't have like a working Brock Purdy or a running back. So, yeah. Let's go Bears.
I think there's this assumption. Yeah, Chicago. I mean, when you given us 4.5 points, as you said, dead coach bounce, no running backs to speak of. Chicago.
Nice. KC -4 over the Chargers. I'm going KC. You're going the Chargers. I think KC just had a file in under them last week at home again in a big spot. I think they win this one by a touchdown against the Chargers.
Yeah, I was that Chargers defense keeping it close, maybe a field goal or under. Squeaking out yet another close win. I'm going to go with the Chargers.
Had a stroke.
Cover that.
Yeah. I'm so tempted to take the Chargers +4 because I think they could win this, but I think KC just have like this weird bounce back in them. Then Dallas Cincy. What a weird game. We're both going Cincy -5.5. That's a fucking offense that could tear up this Dallas defense in a heartbeat, right? So Cincy.
I'm very much in two minds on this one. The 5.5 points. So the Dallas defense is getting better week on week and healthier. And there was a number of sacks put on Burrow. They got and hit him. I think it was like 11 times last week or this week. So the Dallas defense might keep this under 30, and then the Cincy defense is bad enough that it could make Cooper Rush look fucking half decent, and this game end up way closer than it should be on paper.
No.
But that said, Cincy.
Checks out. And we've got Denver, Indy, the Pats, Washington, Baltimore, and Houston on the bye.
So for Gaz, who in his Dynasty League needs a win here to snake through the playoffs, having fucking Lamar as my starting quarterback on bye this week does not help.
Yeah.
I'm going to be forced to... it's a dual quarterback league, so I've got Rusty, but I've also got Aaron Rodgers. That's not fucking great.
I'm cooked. I'm just cooked. Yeah. But that's it. There you go. Episode 113 of NFL Straya Dunskies. So make sure you're following us on Facey, Twitter, IG, TikTok, YouTube, all the good stuff. Get around all the other shows as well. NBA Straya, AFLW today, wrapping up the grand final. Cricket Today podcast with the second test coming. Football Today podcast with the soccer. Hold all tickets for your GGs. Rate, review it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, whatever app you're using, your weird Android phones. Go nuts. Big thanks always go to House Hats for the intro and outro song. They rule. And Gaz, you got any plugs there?
No, just get on our YouTube. We're now over fucking closing in on 1,200 subscribers on the YouTubes, mate.
Nice.
That's pretty bloody good.
Just look at a couple of weird English guys yelling about the NFL.
Yeah, yeah. We need to have plans after this show more often, Jim, because we've raced through this in just over an hour.
That's amazing. I got to go get to a gig. You're going to piss off as well. So there you go. All right. Well, there you go. We'll catch you next week after week 14, you dickheads. We're in the last third here, Gaz. Almost the last quarter. It's crazy.
Woo!
It is the last quarter, I reckon. Just about. All right. We'll catch you in a bit, you dickheads.
See ya.
Later.